Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel English Literature 101. The topic for today is a story titled Ivan's Tries an O-Level, prescribed in Cbse for class 12 in the book named Vistas. As this chapter is quite lengthy, I have decided to divide it into two videos. This video is the first part and the second part will be uploaded within few days. So without any further delay, let's begin with the chapter. Ivan's tries an O-Level. This story is about Ivans, or we can say Ivans is the central character of this story. Ivans is a cunning prisoner. His full name is James Roderick Ivans, and he is also known as Ivans the Brick by the prison officers, as he had escaped from prison thrice. Now presently he is kept in Oxford prison. Now what is O-Level? O-Level is an examination, or we can say an examination on German language. So here in this story, the central character, that is Ivans, sits for a German language O-Level exam. And as we proceed with the story, we will see that he makes a plan to escape from the prison on the day of his examination. So will he be able to escape the prison? Or how will he escape it? Is the lookout in the story. The story starts with a telephonic conversation between the governor of Oxford prison and the examination board secretary. The topic of their discussion is Ivans and his sitting for the examination. The governor requests the secretary that there is a prisoner named Ivans who wants to sit for O-Level examination. The secretary says that though it is an unusual request, but that won't be a problem as Ivans is the only candidate. Then the secretary asks about the venue of the exam, to which the governor replies that the exam will be conducted in Ivans' cell itself. The secretary agrees to it and tells the governor that a priest as invigilator would be coming from St. Mary's Mag to take Ivans' examination, and the governor agrees to it. Now these are the important things that they talked about. But other than this, there were also some other things related to Ivans that they were discussing. Firstly, the secretary asks the governor that is Ivans good? That is Ivans capable of passing the examination? To which the governor replies that he was the only one taking tuition or night classes in the prison, as he wanted to get some sort of academic qualification. And he also said that if Ivans would take class outside the prison, it would have cost him a lot of money. So in a mocking sense, he says that Ivans is taking tuition or night classes free of cost inside the prison. Secondly, the secretary asked whether Ivans was a violent person or not, to which the governor said that he was a nice guy and a bit humorous and was star at the Christmas concert. He even compared Ivans to Mike Yearwood because he could imitate or copy others. He also added that Ivans was kleptomaniac, that is, he used to steal things. It was a kind of a habit for him. Thirdly, the secretary asked the governor that if it was easy to stop Ivans from communicating with other person, to which the governor laughed and finally agreed. So these were all the things or all about the conversation. And finally, the conversation between the governor and the secretary ends. After the conversation ends, we get to know a bit about Ivans, how he escaped from prison thrice, how he created unrest in the highly guarded areas of North. For the governor, Ivans was a burden and his presence was uncomfortable, and the governor was worried because of Ivans, as Ivans used to break the prison and run away. So the governor planned to supervise him personally in Oxford. and the governor also had a doubt that is it that Evans was actually interested in learning German language or was it something else? Now from there we are directly taken to 7th of June, Monday 8:30 p.m. We find that the German teacher who used to teach Evans in prison shook hands with Evans in D Wing. He wished him good luck in German language, which is Guten Glück, and to which Evans replies Danke schön, meaning thank you. The teacher then commented that Evans was not prepared and he had slightest chance to pass the examination. But Evans says that he would surprise everyone. Now next morning at 8:30, Evans was visited by two men. One was Mr. Jackson, who was the senior prison officer on D Wing, and Officer Stephens, who was a newly appointed officer. Now this Jackson and Evans were enemies, or we can say that they did not like each other. So as Jackson enters Evans' cell and greets him, he makes fun of him by calling him Einstein. So Jackson and Stephens came in Evans' cell to get him ready for the examination as well as to check the cell thoroughly. So as both the officers were in inspection, they took away all the things that would be dangerous from Evans' cell, like scissors, nail file, blade, etc. And they also asked Evans to shave and get ready. Now this Evans was wearing a red and white bobble hat. Jackson ordered Evans to take off his hat, but Evans requested him not to take his hat as it was lucky for him and as he was going for an exam, so that hat would help him pass the examination. So Jackson listened to all these things from Evans and allowed him to keep the hat. Then we get to know about the invigilator, Reverend Stuart McCleary. At 8:45 the same morning, McCleary left his bachelor flat in Broad Street and he was going to the Oxford prison for taking Evans' examination. So when he was going to the prison, he carried many things with him. In his right hand, he was carrying a small brown suitcase which contained all that he would need for his morning duties, including a sealed question paper, envelope, a yellow invigilation form, a special authentication card from the examinations board, and a paper knife, a Bible, and a current copy of the Church Times. So he carried this and was on his way to the prison, as the exam was going to start at 9:50. On the other hand, in the prison, all sorts of arrangements were done to keep check on Evans. Two small square tables were set opposite to each other. The whole cell was bugged. That is, microphone was placed in the cell so that the governor could hear all conversation going on in Evans' cell. So proper security measures were taken. We also find that Evans was getting ready. Jackson asked him to remove the pin-ups or posters from the wall. Evans said that he was about to remove them as the invigilator was a churchman. Then Jackson asked that how did he know about it, to which Evans said that he noticed it when he signed the examination forms. Evans also asked Jackson that the bugging done in his cell was not clean. He could see it well. Then Jackson said that no one trusts him and feels that he may escape. So such bugging and all is done for the safety and security measures. Then Jackson wished him good luck and he went outside Evans' cell. Now we find that the priest, that is McCleary, who is going to be the invigilator, reached Oxford prison. He signed his name in the visitor's book and then he followed the prison officer Jackson and was taken to Evans' cell, that is in D Wing. Now, I told you that all sorts of arrangements were done for safety and security measure, isn't it? So that Evans cannot escape. So, there was a heavy door and an inner door, which McCleary, along with the prison officer Jackson, entered. And as soon as they entered, Jackson locked it. Then they went ahead, and outside Evans' cell, Officer Stephens was there. So McCleary joined Stephens, and Jackson at that point of time ordered Stephens to remove the razor from the cell that Evans used for shaving, and also asked him to be alert and keep watch on Evans. Saying this, he went out, and Stephens guided McCleary to Evans' cell. As soon as Stephens and McCleary reached the entrance of the cell, Stephens opened a peephole and pointed towards Evans and informed McCleary that he was the person who was going to sit for the examination. Now, what was Evans doing in the cell? Evans was sitting quietly facing the door and was concentrating on the elementary German grammar book. So Stephens took the key and opened the lock. On the other side, the governor at 9:10 switched on the microphone. Remember, the governor bugged Evans' cell? So he switched on the microphone and he ordered Jackson to tell Evans to be careful as they installed microphone. So it was a kind of a warning that was given to Evans so that he doesn't think of escaping. Now we find that various thoughts popped up in the mind of the governor. Now let's see what were these thoughts. He thought, that is the governor thought, that how could Evans think of escaping that day? If he had to escape, he could have done that when he was at the recreational block, as it was far more easier for him to escape from there. Then he thought that no, Evans cannot escape, as two officers are closely watching him. There were two doors between the cell and yard, the walls are high, so Evans is totally safe, he cannot escape. Then he thought that I turned on the microphone, but I don't think there will be any conversation that I may get to hear. And the next moment, he also thinks that should I keep my earphone on if I get to hear something doubtful? Then he thought that all the potential things that could act as weapons have been removed from Evans' cell. What if the innocent McCleary carried with him some jackknife or paper knife, and he also thought that Evans would try to take an advantage of McCleary and hold him hostage with such a weapon? So such thoughts were coming in the back of the governor's mind. Now it was 9:12 a.m. Governor called up someone, and on the other hand, in Evans' cell, Stephens had already introduced McCleary and Evans. Then all of a sudden, Jackson comes and asked McCleary to come outside for a minute. He explained him about the governor's reason for being worried and told that he need to check McCleary. So McCleary cooperated with him and the checking process started. So as Jackson was checking him, he felt something hard, to which McCleary said that it was his reading glasses. Then Jackson checked his suitcase, envelope, etc. So everything was fine. But there was something in McCleary's suitcase that confused him. It was a half-filled rubber ring. On asking him, he said that he was suffering from a disease and he needs it when sitting for a long time. So Jackson felt sorry that he doubted him and said McCleary that he could keep it. But McCleary had a paper knife. He was not allowed to take that with him. Now at 9:18, Governor heard the voices again, so he understood that the exam was about to start a bit late. So inside the cell, McCleary asks Evans that do you have a watch? Evans said yes. Then McCleary said that he will tell him when to start writing, and 5 minutes before he will let him know when to stop. Then McCleary started giving him instructions to write the index number, the center number, etc. When McCleary was about to say Evans to start writing, Evans interrupted him. Evans looked at Stephens and said that, "Will you be here?" Stephens said that yes, it has been ordered by Jackson to stay here. Then Evans says that he is not able to concentrate if someone constantly keeps a watch on him. And all this conversation was heard by the governor through microphone, and he called Jackson and ordered him to get Stephens out of the cell. It was 9:25. Exam started as there was peace. Then at 9:40 the governor gets a call from Assistant Secretary for Modern Languages. He told governor that the correction slip was not placed in the examination package. So the governor connects the call to Jackson in D-Wing. Now the governor again starts thinking. He is again worried. He thought, that is the call fake? So he quickly redialed the number and heard the sound of beep, which showed that the phone was engaged. Then after a gap of 2 minutes, the governor heard that McCleary was giving some instructions to Evans in a heavy Scottish voice. McCleary was making the corrections, so the governor heard the corrections and he was smiling because he also knew German language and he had German in 6th standard. So he remembered those things and was smiling. He was thinking, and then suddenly he received a call from Magistrate's Court. There was a need of a prison van and some officers. He again thought, that was this a fake call? But at last he sent the van with the officers. Now again we are taken back to the prison. Stephens was keeping a watch on Evans and looked in the cell through peephole after every 1 to 2 minutes. So at 10:45 everything was normal. Evans was always seen chewing pen at looking in front. McCleary was always seated on the chair a bit tilted. Stephens was watching them so carefully that he even noticed that McCleary had his hair cut shortly. He was reading Church Times and one of his fingers was under his collar and sometimes he was touching his black beard. Now it was 10:50 a.m. A phone rang in governor's office and he was reminded that he almost forgot about Evans. He then quickly started listening to the conversation. He then heard that Evans was seeking permission from the supervisor, that is McCleary, to wrap a blanket around his shoulder as he was feeling cold, and McCleary allowed him to take a blanket. So guys, that's all for today's video. For the second part of the story, stay connected to my channel. And I hope that you all have understood the story well. If you have any queries related to the topic, do let me know in the comment section below. And please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.